Well, hello, greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. My collection of Red Alox Victorinox knives has grown by one. We'll start with this one down here, though. This is the Alox Companion, and you notice it's smooth scales, Cub Scout Camping. And this is basically the same knife as a classic, you know, with a main blade and a small file. Notice it's got the nail cleaner tip on it, and then the scissors on the other side, but no scale tools, no toothpick or tweezers. This was the companion, and then, well, no scale tools. None of these will have scale tools, matter of fact. And this is the classic Alox. And this is the Berry Red from 2018. Again, you got the scissors on one side, and then the typical blades that you find on a classic, a small pin blade, and then the screwdriver tipped nail file. And then I did a video on this. I'm not going to pull every blade out. This is the Red Alox Mini Champ that I have. Notice Victorinox on the back side. Next in line is the Popular with the old style cross on the handle, and slightly different texturing going on with the handle. And this is basically the knife similar to your Pocket Pal, with a small pin blade and a larger Spearmaster blade. Basically just an equal end pen knife. And then next up is the Red Alox Cadet, and that has a nail file instead of a pin blade for the back blade. Just 4 tools: can opener, cap lifter, and main spear blade. And then finally, what I have so far is the 93mm Pioneer, which is the knife that ended up being used as the Swiss soldier's knife, minus the little key ring here, and ended up being in silver Alox and stuff. And one of the features of that knife is the fact that the Alox knives have a thicker main blade than your typical blade found on your typical Victorinox 91mm Swiss Army knives. So it's a sturdier knife and with heavier blades. So that's why the Alox Pioneer is such a very popular knife with Alox collectors. And I think I might actually start grabbing more Pioneers instead of Cadets. We'll see how that goes. In any case, that is what I had up until now, but I have one more that I just picked up, and well, it's time to show that one off. Okay, we cleared the background so we can bring in the Hunter Pro Alox in red. Now, this was a knife that I debated picking up for some time, but then Swiss Knife Shop had it with a 20% off sale, so I went ahead and grabbed it, and pretty happy that I did. And well, let's take a look at it. And there we have it. It is not a small knife, as you can tell. 130 millimeters, actually 136 millimeters. The original Hunter Pros with the dual density nylon handles that came out were 130 millimeters long, and they were missing the lanyard hole in the back here. The lanyard hole makes this knife 136 millimeters long. And the lanyard hole first showed up on the Alox models. I think now all of them are coming with the lanyard hole on it. Now the Red Alox is different than most of the other Hunter Pros. Most Hunter Pros have a thumb hole for one hand opening, but the Red Alox and one other, most of the colored Alox knives have just a two-handed opening blade. And if you notice, there is no nail nick in the blade. You do have a little jumping up on top here. Let's open it up and take another look at it. If you notice, it has a mid mounted lock back or back lock on it. So it is, and it is the first Victorinox knife to have a locking blade in such a fashion, a single bladed locking blade, or with a mid lock. They have some with a liner lock, and they had the old slide locks on the 111 millimeters, but this is the first lock back knife made by Victorinox, according to their promotional literature. And you notice they're Swiss made, and Victorinox, and you got a nice little drop point blade there with a nice little swedge going on, and a nice blade cutting edge there. It is not your typical steel used in a Swiss Army knife. I will need to find out what that is. I will try and include it in the slideshow if I can find out early enough. And you've got the large Swiss shield kind of at an angle into the grip, and it really does feel good in the hand. I mean, you've got a lot of grip to hold on to. 130 millimeters or 136 millimeters long, which puts it over 5 inches. Where's my ruler? So let's see here. Overall length, if we can see it there, comes in right at 9 1/4 inches. The blade is right at 3 3/4 inch. Cutting edge on the blade, also really 3 3/4 inch. The handle, let's close her up. About 5 3/8 or 5 1/4 inches long, depending on how you want to measure it. So it is basically the size of a large folding hunter, slightly larger than what you see in your buck. There's your buck 110 versus the Hunter Pro by Victorinox, and I will tell you right now, the buck 110 outweighs it substantially. Let's get that blade open and let's compare the two blades in length. There you have the difference in the blades. Distance, lengthwise, they're about the same length, to tell you the truth. I believe the buck comes in at 3 7/8 inch or so. There you see the buck versus the Alox. I would say they're about the same length. Maybe the buck is a slight amount shorter. You've got the nice hollow grind going on there. That's kind of a saber grind going on with this one. Got that, I guess you could call it a integrated guard, so your hand doesn't slip up on the blade. And you have the texturing of the aluminum or Alox handle, which works out real good. So the other things that come with this knife, let me close up the buck and get it out of the way. We'll see more of that in the slideshow. Inside the box here, we have two other things that come with it. You see here the pocket clip, and the pocket clip actually is removable without any tools. You see the slot there? The pocket clip came attached to the knife, but I since popped it out. It's really easy to pop out, and it's also easy to put back on if you know what you're doing. It just slides in there. There we go. Get it lined up, and then just push it down until it clicks, and then it will lock in place. And it is firm. It is not coming out easily. What you have to do is put it on a ledge like so, and then pop down with your hand, and it will pop out. Well, let's see if I can do that on a ledge. Okay, so I've got this 2x2, and what I need to do is I need to basically put the edge of the pocket clip against the 2x2, like so, and hold it firmly against the side. And well, I've got it up on a little box so that there's a little space below. And then basically what they tell you to do is just take and hit it on the lanyard with the palm, with the, you know, the palm of your hand, kind of sharply, and that will pop the pocket clip out, and then you can remove it. And well, as you can see, that works out quite well. So yeah, it's fairly easy to put in and fairly easy to remove, and when it's in one place or the other, it is holding firm and fast. I don't know how many times you'd be able to do this over and over, but for the most part, what most people are going to do is they'll either have it in or out. Very rare that people go flipping back and forth. I will use my pocket clip today, and then tomorrow, I think I will not use my pocket clip today. You know, it's usually either or. You usually don't go back and forth. Anyway, let's get back to the video now. And finally, the last thing that comes with the knife is their lanyard. Now, the lanyards for the Alox knives will match the color of the handle. So this particular one is Red Alox, so it's got a red lanyard. I would really consider this more of a fob, but that's what they refer to it as, is a lanyard. Easy enough to attach. You just slide the one in through the lanyard hole, and then you slip the other part through the loop, and you've got your lanyard attached. The lanyard does not come attached to the knife. The pocket clip does. The earlier Hunter Pros came with a leather-like sheath. I would have preferred that, but I would have rather actually had a red nylon sheath or something of that nature, a Victorinox red nylon sheath. That would have been a nicer way to go as far as I'm concerned. I wonder. I do have this sheath for my Victorinox Swiss soldier's knife, and I wonder how this fits into there. Actually, I think that's going to work out just fine. Yeah. So yeah, if you have the Swiss soldier's knife, the 111 millimeter sheath for the Swiss soldier's knife, that's going to work out just fine for your Victorinox Pro Hunter. The Alox one is a little loose in there, as you can see, but if you've got one with the dual density nylon handles, which are wider, I think they would also still fit. You got plenty of space in there, so either one of those knives should be able to fit into your 111 millimeter Swiss soldier's sheath. So that's another option, and that's probably the option I'll go with instead of the pocket clip. As for the pocket clip, well, I popped it off. I'm not going to put it back on, but it is basically it attaches only to the back side of the handle in the tip-up position. So it is basically, would that be, yeah, right side tip-up carry only with the pocket clip. I'm not a fan of pocket clips anyway. I was just happy that it comes out easily. So that's your choices with the pocket clip. Right side tip up carry or no pocket clip at all. Those are your two options. As for the knife itself, really, really solid lockup with that lock back. It just really snaps in place real well. The jimping is very light. Basically all it really does is let you know when your thumb is up on the blade, so you know where to stop pushing, but I think you'll figure that out on your own anyway. You got a very strong, even though there is that false swedge there, you got some good blade thickness all the way out to the tips, so that's not bad. I don't think you have to worry too much about the blade tip breaking. You can see the nice polish on there. So you've got the edge on that blade looks very even and very nice. You got that, it is a nice satin finish going on. Where does it drop? I think blade centering is pretty good on there too. So, I mean, what would you expect from a Victorinox knife? I mean, it is Swiss made and it is well made. The rivets, probably Alox also. They might be brass. I can't tell. It looks like they're Alox, though. You know, just nicely turned, and they're flat. They're not protruding out of the Alox handles, and you do have Alox liners underneath those scales. That's right. Victorinox calls the outside handles scales, and then you have liners underneath those. Yeah, I really like it. It's very comfortable in the hand. You got a nice, the finger grooves are well spaced. They fit nicely in my hand. And if you notice, you have this one that is a little flatter and longer than the two in the back here. These are a little more deeper, but when you're grabbing the knife like so, they just kind of fall right into place. It fits my hand really well with them having a little bit more space in the front ones there. I don't know, the knife just feels like it belongs in your hand. Either hand, it just nice. It just goes right in there. So I'm really happy with the way it feels in my hand and everything else. I mean, just a marvelous knife. Now, a little bit of history on them. The knives, the Pro Hunter series, is that right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Hunter Pro. That's what I'm always going to get confused with. The Hunter Pro first came out in 2013, and it had dual density nylon handles, and it had a, as you can see there, a thumb hole for the blade. That's the way they first showed up. And if you notice, now you have a newer version with no thumb hole. This is called the two-hand opening. This is called the one-hand opening. I did not see the dual density here. I'll put an inset picture of it, though. In any case, the Alox followed shortly afterwards, just the silver Alox with the one-hand opening. And then later they added the pocket clip and the lanyard hole in the back here. And this particular one, the two-hand opening with the pocket clip and lanyard hole in red Alox, first appeared on the scene in January 2019. So it's only been around for about a year or so. If you haven't seen it or run across it yet, that's probably why. It is the newest version of the Hunter Pro series. And these are known as, this is just going to be known, I think, as the Hunter Pro. And then I think they are going to soon call all of them, because they're all going to have the same layout, but eventually the one with the one-hand opening version with the thumb hole, that's going to be known as, I think, the Hunter Pro M. I guess the M for modified, which is kind of odd because that was the original type with the thumb opener. In any case, they will all eventually have the lanyard hole, and all of the Alox versions will have a pocket clip. But this is the frame they're going to be moving to, especially with the Alox knives, is with the pocket clip, with the lanyard hole, and then they will have either a one-hand opening blade or a two-hand opening blade. I think the reason they have two-hand opening versions is because some areas do not allow one-hand opening knives, even though they will allow a lock back. But all the Hunter Pros, as far as I know, are locking knives. You'll just have a two-hand version and a one-hand version. And now I'm thinking I might have to get the silver Alox in the one-hand opening version. No, you cannot drop shutty this thing. Any case, really solid, well-made knife, and I really kind of dig it. I'm glad I got it, and it is definitely something I want to take out and put through some paces. Anyway, stick around for some slides. Well, if you're still here after the slideshow, you probably noticed that I compared this Hunter Pro to these three knives in the background here, a Dragonfly 2, a Meadowlark 2, and a Ganzo 729, which is a clone of, I believe, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And some of you might be going, why didn't you compare it to a Benchmade 940? Well, simple reason is, first of all, I don't think this knife is really competing against the Benchmade 940. And second of all, I don't own a Benchmade 940, and I don't plan on owning a Benchmade 940. So if you want to know how this knife or any knife in my collection compares against a particular modern folder, be it a Benchmade 940 or anything else out there, you're going to really have to just donate it to the channel, and then I will do it that way. But I really don't find an interest in modern folders. So I do think that most of them are a glorified folding hunter, such as this knife. So in that way, yeah, most of the modern folders, including like the 940, is a folding hunter similar to this. The thing is it's designed to be opened quickly, and this knife is not designed to be opened quickly. I really think that the knife that this most closely resembles is the old Buck 110. And that's why I took a little more time to compare it to the Buck 110 than any modern folders. Not to mention, like I said, I don't really have a lot of modern folders. But in any case, there you have it. That's my thoughts on this beautiful Hunter Pro by Victorinox in Red Alox. Not a modern folder, but a modern take on the folding hunter.
Yee doggy, I told you it was going to be a fun one. Sure hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a comment and give it that big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, and go out there and tell your friends there's another episode just around the corner. Thanks a lot for visiting. Really appreciate you being here. Talk to you again soon.